Prediction season is officially here. These are my game-by-game predictions for the Texas Longhorns in the 2024 college football season. Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn notifications. Check us out via podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us across all social media platforms, as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. We're brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com and use promo code SECU at sign up to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 or more lineup. Again, guys, that's prizepicks.com, promo code SECU to get your $50 bonus today. Year one of life in the SEC is just around the corner for the Texas Longhorns, and these are my game-by-game predictions for Hook'em in the 2024 college football season as we pull up Texas's schedule and each of my selections. Now, the question surrounding both Texas and Oklahoma is this. Are they ready for the grind of the SEC, the week in, week out? Are they going to take a step back? And I think the two arch rivals, as we all know at this point, are in different places as programs. But zeroing in on Texas specifically, the question that everyone wants answered is this. Is Texas back? And what does it really mean for Texas to be back? Well, you went to the college ball playoff last year, and I'm someone, guys, I don't care if it's year one in the SEC. Did you see what they did in Tuscaloosa a season ago? I'm buying the hype. And I understand it's different, right? Because we saw Texas last year. At times, you win that big game against Bama, and then the following weeks against Wyoming and Kansas State, you look a little bit sloppy. But I think Steve Sarkisian and company have been building for this moment to come into the SEC and not just compete, but kick the door down. So as we turn our attention to the schedule itself, guys, Texas will ease into this 2024 season, their season opener against the Colorado State Rams. That will be a big win for the Longhorns. Week 2 is a sneaky game, guys. You know, we talk a lot about games that will shape the college football season. And right now, guys, in the preseason, all of our predictions, our thoughts about college football, they all fit very neatly in this little box, right? They fit neatly like this is going to happen this, and this team's going to be this, and this player will do this. And it all makes sense, right? It's chaos, but it's organized chaos in our mind. But there are things that can happen, and as you and I well know, will happen early on in the season that will just upset the established order, bring immense chaos. This game, week 2 at Michigan, is one of those games that I think people are glossing over like, man, Michigan lost everybody. Jim Harbaugh's gone. The entire offense. Defense will be salty, but they're going to be nowhere near what they were. Texas wins this one easy. This is not a game where if you are Texas, you can come into this ball game thinking that. I don't think they will. I think going into the big house, they'll be locked in. They'll be focused. But I'm just saying, I've got Texas winning this game. But this is far from a given. I think at minimum, Michigan will be able to give Texas some problems defensively. I think this is back and forth, maybe a little bit lower scoring here. Probably closer than most expect. But again, this is just a game folks are too quickly glossing over. This is going to be a hell of a matchup, guys. Hell of a matchup. I think Michigan's got too many moving pieces, too many question marks. Texas far more settled. But I'm just saying, don't roll into this ball game thinking all you got to do is roll the helmet out there. But I do think Hook'em gets a big win, early momentum building type of W, and starts the season 2-0. Then you've got UTSA at home. That's a big win for Texas. ULM at home. That's another big win for Texas. Guys, in case you haven't noticed the trend, the schedule works out pretty well for Texas this year. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's more manageable than some others, right? Your SEC opener comes against the Mississippi State Bulldogs in week 4. I think Jeff Lebby could be the long-term answer there in Starkville. This is going to be a rough year one. I think Texas is going to put the pedal to the metal. They're going to want to announce their presence with authority. And while I know it's Mississippi State, I still think Texas is going to win this thing by a large margin and sort of use this game to show everyone, hey, we have arrived. We are officially in the SEC. Watch what we can do. So Texas with a big start of the season, 5-0 through the month of September. You then get a key bye week on October the 5th because what awaits you the following week? The Red River Shootout against the Oklahoma Sooners. Now guys, admittedly, before Texas and Oklahoma joined the league, I was one that, I'd watched this rivalry from afar, but I wasn't familiar with all the records and exactly how this thing down on a year-in, year-out basis, the statistics, if you will. Oklahoma, let's call it for what it is. They've all but dominated this rivalry since 2000. 17-8 are the Sooners against Texas. Look at last year. Even in a year in which Texas goes to the college football playoff, they fall to Boomer Sooner. And so you look at this game this year and you're like, how can I trust the Longhorns here? Like how can you? That being said, against my better judgment, I do think Texas, with revenge on the mind, will find a way to get a W in this game. I think Steve Sarkisian's team is on a mission. I think coming off the bye is a really, really big deal here. I think it's a big deal to come off the bye. They'll be fresh. They'll be ready to go. They'll be locked in, especially after what happened last year. And I think Texas gets their revenge, takes down Oklahoma. I think it's another thriller. These games are typically always close, but I do think Hook'em gets a massive, massive win over Oklahoma to keep the undefeated season alive. Then the next week, guys, this is really the game for Texas. I mean, you look at the schedule, this is the game for the Texas Longhorns. Of all the games on this schedule, I know Oklahoma is the biggest, the rivalry, what have you. From an SEC perspective, this Georgia game's the biggest. This will be the game I think folks will be looking at. Because as you can see, guys, first half of the season, all due respect to all the teams that we have talked about, Georgia will by far be the stiffest test. Let's just put it that way. This is going to be the game everybody's going to look at and say, okay, how SEC ready are you really? How SEC ready are you really? You've picked on the Mississippi States of the world. You got through non-con. You got a nice rivalry game win, but this is Georgia. This is Georgia. This is different. This is the creme de la creme. Welcome to the big show. Welcome to the party. Where do you fit in? Games in Austin, going to be an electric atmosphere, obviously, guys, at DKR, afternoon or night game kick. It's also the F1 weekend, by the way, so it's going to be a madhouse in Austin, Texas. Georgia coming into town. I tell you this, guys, this game was coin flip for me. If this game is in Athens, I'm picking Georgia. There's no doubt. Being in Austin, as I mentioned, I think Steve Sarkisian and company, they've been building for a moment like this. They've been building for a season like this, but they've been building for a game like this. They've been building for a moment like this. They are SEC ready in the trenches. And that's where it matters most. And if you're going to go toe-to-toe with Georgia, that's where you have to be SEC ready. And I think they are. And I think Texas at home is going to have just enough firepower, make just enough big plays in key moments to eke out a win over the Georgia Bulldogs. And this will be the moment that I think Texas truly announces their arrival to the SEC. I think this is going to be the moment. It's going to send shockwaves through the SEC. But I think, again, in Austin, riding that wave of emotion, momentum, I think Hook'em finds a way to get the job done. Following week, guys, you're at First Bank Stadium in Vandy. I know there's been a lot of trolling over the offseason about Texas has got a losing record all the time to Vanderbilt, and it's been really funny. I hope Vandy fans have enjoyed it because when October 26th comes around, Texas is going to, number one, they're going to take over the stadium. Number two, they're going to take Vandy to the woodshed. And Texas fans tuned in, if you've never been on that road trip, you should go. It's a really, really fun weekend in Nashville because you're going to go out and have a good time, and you're probably guaranteed to get a W. So all due respect to our friends in Nashville. But either way, Texas gets a big dub there. Then you've got the bye week on November the 2nd. The following week, you begin your November slate. November 9th, the Florida Gators come to town. Noon kickoff Eastern time, 11 a.m. local. Hear me out. Do not sleepwalk through this game. This is where the SEC can get you. I know you're tired of hearing about it. The SEC grind. This is where they will get you. Do not sleepwalk through that Florida game. Because the difference between the SEC and the Big 12, when you take on a team like Florida, they might not be very good this year, but they got NFL dudes. They got enough dudes to win if you don't show up ready to play. I think Texas will show up ready to play, but this is a game I think to get a little squirrely. That's all I'm saying. I don't trust Billy Napier and company to go win on the road, but I'm just saying it could get squirrely. Don't give a team like Florida an opportunity to look up in the fourth quarter and say, hey, it's a one-score game. We can go out and win this thing. Don't do that. Don't do that. And I don't think Texas will. I think Texas gets the win. I'm just saying, though, don't mess around with the Gators. Texas gets the double of Florida. Then the next week, you talk about trap games at Arkansas. Oh, my goodness. I know Longhorn fans have got PTSD the last time they went to Fayetteville. You know, the conversation at SEC Media Days was really, really funny about, does Arkansas hate Texas more than they like their own team? Sam Pittman just embraced it, right? He's like, yeah, actually, I think he's right. I think Arkansas fans do hate Texas more than they love Arkansas, which is just laugh out loud funny. I don't think that hatred is going to result in a win for the Hogs. You know, the fact that this one, listen, when you're the road team, you want the game to be at noon Eastern or 11 a.m. local time, right? So 11 a.m. local kick. What is Arkansas at this point in the year? Is Sam Pittman even the head coach? I think Texas does get the dub. I think they avenge the loss in 2021. This is a much different Texas program than it was 3 years ago when they went into Fayetteville. And this is a much different Arkansas program than 3 years ago. I think Texas cruises to a win there. This game against Kentucky, November 23rd. Interesting ball game. Obviously, final home game of the season in Austin, Texas at DKR. Afternoon or night game kick. I think Kentucky is going to be better than people are giving them credit for. I think this is an 8-win Kentucky team. I don't know that they have I don't think they've got the offensive firepower most likely to beat Texas, but they've got a stingy defense, 10 of 11 back. They added some guys via the portal. They've got enough on defense, I think, to give Texas some headaches. Texas wins. Again, this is another one of these SEC knockout, drag down, slugfests. Texas gets the dub. And that sets up the 11-0, 7-0 Longhorns traveling to College Station. The rivalry renewed with the Aggies. It's been over a decade, hasn't it? Yeah, over a decade since these two teams played. When we lost this epic rivalry. Oh, goodness. You guys probably are looking, if you're watching right now via YouTube, you're looking at the graphic. You've been fuming this entire time, wondering what the hell is on the screen. This is going to be, it's the hottest ticket in college football. The 12th man, Kyle Field might collapse. After the Jim Schlossnagle stuff, after, some of the other trash talk, you got Connor Wegman at the start of fall camp saying, oh, yeah, Texas, dub. That's going to be a dub. Right. And I thought that's not that big of a deal. It's rivalry trash talk, but still, Aggies are confident. They're riding high. Listen, I think Texas A&M is going to be a wildly inconsistent team, guys. I do. I think they're going to be wildly inconsistent year one of a new head coach. I'm not buying the Aggie hype as much as some. But I think in this game, and let me be very clear, throw out all the records when it comes to a rivalry game like this. Throw out the records. We can talk matchups, we can talk roster, we can talk keys to game. Who knows what is going to take place when Texas and Texas A&M square off? Who knows? Again, it's been so long since we've gotten this game. And I think the Texas Longhorns, as good as they are, again, I've got them undefeated going into this ball game. I think Texas is walking into a freaking hornet's nest. That will be the 12th man. That will be Kyle Field. I think they will feel that all night long. Sometimes, guys, things that are hard to explain, unexplainable things happen on rivalry weekend. And I think that will be the case, as I think Texas A&M will pull the upset as they're just looking to play spoiler, right? I think A&M's a 7-5 team, guys. I think they're 6-5 going in that game. But I think they play spoiler. I think what you see is the beauty of rivalry weekend. I think the Aggies at home under the lights put it all together. And I think they make the most of the rivalry game, the rivalry returning. And I think Texas drops this ball game. Listen, I think I've got Texas finishing, in case you missed it, first in the SEC, going to the SEC championship, losing to Georgia in the SEC title, but making the college football playoff. But I just think in this rivalry showdown, guys, you never know what may happen. You never know. And I think Texas is going to be walking into a madhouse. And I wonder how they'll withstand that. And I think Texas A&M will pull the big upset into the year. So for Texas to finish, it'll be a bittersweet 11-1, 7-1 SEC record. Sweet, but a very, very bitter ending indeed. So guys, again, I've got 11-1, 7-1 for the Texas Longhorns. What say you? Do you agree? Do you disagree? How do you feel the Texas Longhorns will fare in the 2024 college football season? Guys, that's going to do it all for me. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us across all social media platforms as well as our website, SECUnfiltered.com. Until next time, guys, I'm Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in, and we'll catch you on the other side.